Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Unexpected Results, the Eternal Podcast. Coming at you live, this time on a Tuesday, May 29th. Had a family emergency come up. And so here we are, doing our rain check episode. How are you doing today, the Manted Man?
Well, I was really excited for the podcast beforehand, just knowing that we were going to get to do it. I'm even more excited now because we got a bunch of spoilers to talk about, and we have some pretty exclusive stuff for the podcast. So, man, I'm pumped.
Same. I was not ready to go into the podcast, but, you know, sometimes you just got to prepare because exciting things occur. Anyways, well, let's just jump right into all of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the results of the ETS, the last week of the season before the Invitational, the last chance qualifier that happened on Sunday, and very, very, very briefly talk about the Invitational itself, talk about the Empty Throne draft event that we had this weekend, and talk about all the spoilers that have been released so far. And, of course, announce the giveaway winners at the end.
Absolutely. So ETS Season 2, Week 8, the final week. We had a decent shake-up of decks, so I'm pretty excited to talk about just the top 8. It was not necessarily what everybody expected to see. It was actually pretty kind of a smattering of decks across the field, so I was pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, it wasn't just, that TJP flyer deck. Though there was one copy of that deck in there from one of the people that top 8'd the previous week.
Go for it, man.
Here's the rundown. We, in first place, from first to 8th, here's what we got. We got Xenon Midrange by Sono. Stone Scar Gunslingers from Tin Man. Praxis Midrange from King Breath. TJP Flyers from Kamato. Skycrag Aggro from Faradsbro. He loves that deck. Or so I'm told. We have AP Midrange from Ilya K, 1986. Also what I played. I went 1-2 drop. And then we have Time Justice Primal... Sorry. Justice Primal Shadow Midrange from Tobu, and, of course, Xenon Midrange from Bruised by God, or as he called it, Make Xenon Great Again, which is the deck that I wanted to play this last weekend, but, family emergency stuff came up, and I just didn't have the time to put the finishing touches on the list, so I just went with the first place AP Midrange list from the previous week, and, I don't really like playing that kind of deck, and that kind of showed when I probably made several poor decisions throughout my 3 matches last Saturday.
Well, it was a tough field. I got to watch the beginning. I was traveling this week again, getting prepped for the move and everything, but I got to watch a bunch of the early matches for the people that were streaming. Obviously, the stuff that was on the official tournament broadcast stream, but the top 8, Sono, Tin Man, Kamato, Ilya, Bruised by God. I mean, a bunch of names in the top 8 that everybody recognizes. Kang Breath, I've seen some decks definitely from them before, not only in the Eternal Discord, but posted on the Eternal Warcry website. And then, every once in a while his name even comes up, or their name, comes up from time to time. But, man, what a field. Obviously no surprise that they were in the top 8, but seeing them all kind of bunched together was very cool, and getting to watch them go up against one another was fantastic.
Yeah, 7 out of 8 of those names I recognized just right away. Everybody but poor little Tobu here. No idea who they are. No offense, but hey, they did a great job with a list that most people probably were not expecting to see.
And now we do recognize the names, so when they come up in the future, we can go back and say, hey, I remember reporting on them the first time they broke up into this stuff, man.
Yeah. Exactly. So Sono, solidifies their inclusion into the Invitational with this victory with Xenon Midrange. I was thinking about playing Slime Spitter Slug in the main, if I were to play the list. I wasn't sure if I wanted to. But Sono and Bruised by God were the two people I wanted to talk to about if I were going to bring Xenon to the tournament. Didn't get the chance to, and look, they both are playing. They were testing together. I know that because I did talk to Bruised by God early in the week. They were testing together. I played some matches against them on the ladder just coincidentally. And I was not actually expecting this exact version of the deck with Dream Snatcher and all that, but you know, Dream Snatcher definitely stole some wins against me on the ladder throughout the week. I got milled out more than one time. I got decked more than one time due to Dream Snatchers.
Yeah, it's you know, I remember when the card hit and everybody was, I think it was even a spoiler for the set. Everybody was like, "Oh man, that's cool." The card came out. We saw some of the other combo stuff, and there was a lot of talk about it right out of the gate. Everybody was really excited to kind of throw it into the decks that it really fit into, and then it didn't see a lot of play. And now we're seeing it come back and watching it work over the weekend and watching it work on the ladder for people and watching some of these other streamers either use it and do really well with it or not use it and just get crushed out by it was fantastic. So having that card come back, especially as we move into this new set, if we get more mill effects and things like that, we could see one of my favorite deck archetypes for TCGs and CCGs come around and be very viable, where you just, not only do you stop your opponent from playing, but you shorten the game by removing 30, 40 cards from their deck on turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, something like that, especially at these ramp cards that keep coming out.
That is the truth. That is the truth. That would be pretty sweet. I agree. I mean, any time where the more win conditions there are supported in the game, the more different archetypes can exist. I just think that's great.
Yeah. So we had the ETS the last week of the ETS, and then we got into on Sunday the last chance qualifier for season 2, and we've got a bunch of names again that had to kind of wanted to force their way in or wanted to force other people out. Anything like that came into this. So we had a group of players again that we're very familiar with. In first place, one of my favorite names. I'm not going to comment either way on the player. I mean, great deck builder, fun to watch, of course. But Bassoon Buffoon is on top of the list with Skycrag Aggro. Bruised by God came back with Keep Xenon Great, followed by Team Rankstar's own Dunkelwerk playing Bant Coco, which was a with a splash of time mid-range. Second Blues Fun Times deck, which is a control deck. Mr. Bombito playing Let's Try Again, Praxis Take My Energy mid-range deck. Boosted Animal playing Fire Time Shadow mid-range that he called Dark Souls. Cross playing what was just a little bit of a shift on standard Feln control. And finally, Tony G playing I wanted to play Hailstorm, but Ilias said it was bad versus AP and TJP, which is a Justice Primal Shadow mid-range deck.
I mean, I bet if he had those Hailstorms, he would have finished in the top 4 instead of just the top 8.
Well, again, what a crazy mix of decks, man. I mean, I don't think, just looking back through it, there's no duplicate decks. There's some that are sort of similar. That obviously you play a lot of the same cards. You see a lot of Sandstorm Titans and World Bear Behemoths, things like that. But I would say out of the 8 players, six different decks.
Yeah, I mean, I think all 8 of these decks are distinctly different decks. Like, you have the JPS unitless control deck from Second Blue. You have, Tony G's JPS mid-range list, and then, Tony G's list and Dunkelwerk's list are both basically Haru Flyers splash this, splashing Stand Together in Dunkelwerk's case, and, splashing Slay and stuff like that from Tony G. Very similar, but again, still different enough, I would say.
Yeah, but again, fantastic turnout. Some names we do recognize, some names we don't. And, this sets us up for the Invitational, which I think you got your invite to, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, indeed. I qualified. I was one of those people that just had enough points. I had 3 top 8s, and just had consistent finishes all around. So definitely had enough points to sneak my way in there. I couldn't just win a tournament, and get in the easy way. I had to do it the so-called hard way, but that's okay.
You had to force your way in, but I think I speak for everybody when I say that this is the best of the best, especially for this season, for this series of chapters. A lot of the names you've seen on top of Masters ranked, you've seen in the top 8s and top finishes in tournaments. Obviously, you see decks from them. A bunch of them are streamers. So we're going to have a great turnout. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. But Platypus King is going to come out on top. Team Rank Star members in the top 8 just smashing through. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
My favorite... Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate the... Speaking the truth, just telling everybody the reality, what the reality is, because I am the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I am the best in the world at what I do, and what I do is dominate digital card games. So, it's gonna be a good time.
Oh man, I can't wait. I am not traveling that week, so I'll be able to sit down, buckle in, watch everything. I am pumped. I'm not a tournament player. Everybody who follows the stream and follows the podcast knows that you'll probably never see me in the tournaments, and if you do, it won't be top 8. But I'm a big fan of the mechanics and watching these other guys play and learning what I can and taking lessons and kind of passing them along to other people in articles and things like that. So these invitationals, these best of the best kind of competitions, they really get me pumped because everybody brings their A game. There's some memes that show up in the ETS, especially once people are qualified. There's some memes that show up on the ladder after you've made it to Masters. But at that set of tournaments, that invitational, even the last chance qualifiers, people bring what they are good at, what they are known for. So I'm pumped, man.
Same. Dude, my favorite part about from all these lists from the ETS and the LCQ this weekend, my favorite part of all of it is the 3 of Yeti Pult in Cross's Felm Control list in the last chance qualifier. I mean, he misnamed his deck. It's a mid-range deck through and through. This is like one of the most mid-rangey versions of Felm that I've seen. They even have 4 Rindras in the sideboard. But other than that, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be great. So covered all the tournament stuff. Let's just jump into what everybody is here for. At least
draft event.
Yeah, draft event, exactly. What everybody's here for. The most fun that anybody had all weekend. I guess, the most fun anybody had all weekend for sure. Tournament standings are not draft event. Set 1 exclusive. Just some of the most, throwing us back to the old days, some of the most fun cards that exist, getting access to having 2, 3, 4 torches in your deck. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Man, I wish I had more time this weekend. Wish I had more time to play Eternal this weekend. For the first time in a long time, I did not have a lot of time to play, but man, I had a lot of fun drafting set 1. My preference when it comes to draft formats in any kind of game is when it's all the same set. And so getting 4 packs of set 1, The Empty Throne, was just an absolute blast. I did Combre, I think, every time. All except for the last time. The first 4 runs were all Combre, and then my last run was Argenport, Splash Blue, Splash Primal. But I finished in the top 500. It's fine. I get a Seraph. Not everybody can get top 10. Yodavite was in top 10 before falling to 12th, or maybe fell a little bit further by the time the event ended, but he almost got that invitation. He almost got that Ikaria.
Yeah, heartbreak. Yadabite's a friend of the stream. He is a friend of ours. He hosts you, you host him. I show up in his stream when you're not online, and great guy. I was pulling for him hard. He was the name that I recognized the most, that I interact with in the top 10, and then logging in this morning and seeing that he fell just below the threshold. I felt bad, but at the same time, you can't win them all. What was the craziest deck you got to play in the draft event?
I mean, I had a deck that had 3 Awakened Students. I had another deck that had 2 Awakened Students. I had a deck that had 2 Silverwing Commander, the 5-cast 4/4 flyer with Warcry 2. That was really enjoyable. Had some safe returns to bring him back. None of my decks were too insane, but I definitely did get past. I got past in Pack 4, like pick 5, maybe 4, Carnosaur, and that felt awesome. That was my favorite moment of the entire draft experience, was getting past a Carnosaur deep into a pack late into the draft.
Yeah, man, we had some cool stuff. You'll get a kick out of this. I know you like Armory a lot, and some of that kind of rolls over into pants, weapons and stuff. So I was talking with everybody last night. I already completed my runs to get my rank. Also finished in the top. I think I finished top 400, but definitely top 500. And so I opened my first pack on this last run of the evening. Pack 1, pick 1, Deep Forge Plate. Pumped. I like Rakano. I like playing weapons. Just super excited. So snap pick that. It's a legendary 2. What are you going to do? Pack 2, I get past a Deep Forge Plate. Don't know how it happens. Don't know what card gets picked over that. Maybe a torch. I have no idea. So I ended up with 2 Deep Forge Plates. I ended up with a Valkyrie Enforcer, which is many people's favorite card ever. I got 2 torches. I got 2 of the Valkyrie that are 4-drop, deals double damage in Rakano colors. I can't remember her name. And just a whole slew of other cards, some katanas, the 1-drop 1/1 with Aegis. I can't remember his name. Stalwart, I think. I just got a great deck. Ended up going 7/1 with it. One of those was only because I couldn't get any power after the 2 that I started in my opening hand with. Rebel Valkyrie, thank you. It was just awesome. I had so much fixing as well. I had like 3 or 4 banners, had 2 of the Rockin' Strangers. It was gross. I was so happy that I got to play it. I showed my wife the deck. She was like, that's a constructed deck. That's not fair. It was a lot of fun.
No, it felt like a lot of the decks felt like they looked like constructed decks. Like a lot of the cards in set 1 are just some of the best cards in the game. So I played against an opponent that went turn 1 Oni Ronin, turn 2 Rakano Outlaw, turn 3 Oni Ronin Torture Thing. I'm like, I can't beat this start. Like, I wish I got to bring a ranked deck to the tournament here, but
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I was in one of my last games. I was like 5-1 or 6-1, and I'm down. I mean, I'm getting my face kicked in. This guy has a great Zen and Lifesteal deck. He's got all the pieces just chugging along, and then I pull Rebel Valkyrie. She goes up, and I'm playing off the top at this point as well. So Rebel Valkyrie goes up. I have like 14 hit points left, and I get hit for 6 or 7 or something like that. Next pull, mana's in place, Deep Forge Plate, onto the Rebel Valkyrie, and swing in, do a bunch of damage. He's down to like 9 hit points, isn't able to do anything. I come back in. He's got a flyer, so he's going to be able to block, and it had a bunch of hit points, or had lifesteal. But my next draw was a Protect, so I run the Rebel Valkyrie in. He's got 1 or 2 hit points left. He comes up with a Death Strike that I'm able to protect the Rebel Valkyrie with. And oh my God, it was so awesome. I can't describe to you just the fun that we got out of the entire draft event. But for me specifically, that last set of matches was like being a new player in week 1, playing with your, unlocked Rakano Warcry deck. It brought me back, and it was a blast.
Yeah. That sounds like a good time. A couple of the more disheartening moments that I had in the draft. Turn 2, Awakened Student. Turn 3, don't draw a third power. Play Awakened Student. Turn 4, don't draw another power. Play my third Awakened Student. I have 3 Awakened Students out on turn 4, but only 2 power. And then I go on to lose the game because I never drew another power. I think I drew a power on my last turn that I was alive. It's like, just in time. Another bummer part for me was during one of the drafts, I had to pass Hammer of Might while it was in my colors. And I took 4th Tree Elder, which I think is correct. Still.
Well,
but it felt
overall,
bad.
yeah, overall, draft event with all of one set of cards, 1 of 1 experience for you, because I know it was for me.
It was 1 out of 1. I mean, I suggested, a few weeks back on this podcast, I was like, man, I really wish at some point they would do just a set 1 only draft, just bring it back. And lo and behold, here it was. Coincidence? You be the judge.
That's right. I mean, we are the Eternal Podcast, so I don't know what anybody expected. If we say stuff here, it just happens. I mean, our streak remains to be broken. We say things, we ask for things. It just shows up. So I don't know what else to say.
And that's the bottom line.
That's right. Okay, so everybody's getting antsy. People want us to talk about things. I'm getting messages in Discord. I'm getting messages, whispers in Twitch. So if it's all right with you, Your Highness, is it time to talk about a couple of spoilers?
Let's go ahead and talk about the spoilers.
Well,
all
should
right.
we do spoilers now, or do you want to do giveaway results first? So we drag it out a little longer?
No.
All right. Let's give the people what they want. Spoiler. So, for anybody not paying attention in Discord, on Reddit, on Twitter, on anybody's streams, we are safe to say, I think, in spoiler season for real this time. There were some slip-ups made. There were some cards revealed, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule, but I think we are safely in spoiler season because since the last podcast, there have been 8 or 9 spoilers that have come out.
Yeah. I think the time of getting art spoilers instead of actual cards is over. So no more speculating on random art. We have actual cards to talk about.
The first of which is a 0 cost, 1 justice influence requirement spell. Some would say slow spell. Are we talking about Harmless Question, or are we talking about Mindfire? Mindfire, apologies. Excuse me. So 1 cost, 1 fire influence requirement, slow spell, Mindfire. This bad boy says pay 1 and exhaust 2 enemy units. It's essentially the fire equivalent for much less outside of fast flash freeze. Knocks down your opponents, lets you get in there for them big old whammies, pairs up really nicely with what is that 2-drop that gives everybody +2 on fast speed? Oh, it's gonna kill me that I can't remember that. Somebody's gonna correct me.
What's the card text again?
Pay 2, fast. Give all unit or all your units +2 attack.
It's a 3-cost spell. That are you talking about Rally?
Rally, yes, thank you. Golly, it was killing me. Sorry, 3-cost Rally. Pairs up nicely with those decks. This is definitely an aggro card, I would say. I mean, it's not fast, but you play it as you're playing your charging guys out, or as you're setting up to just drop some major damage on somebody. Very happy with this card, personally.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a very good card in drafts, and I could even see this popping up in some ranked decks, either the sideboard at the ETS for maybe for the aggro mirror match, or just in a really aggressive deck that doesn't want you to be able to block. I mean, It gets worse the later the game goes, but hopefully you just kill them dead before that. Obviously, it's not great against Sandstorm Titan, still, but hey, that's what Vanquish is for.
That's right. That's what Vanquish is for. That's what Double Torch is for. That's what
Polymorph.
That's what having units with overwhelm is for, and that's what fire does really well, and it's probably only going to get better.
Quick draw.
Quick draw as well. Just kick that thing right in the teeth. Make that sandstorm shut up. So Mindfire, 1 out of 1.
I agree.
Next one, are we doing the green or?
Yes, I just did the wrong one. Yeah.
You made me look dumb. You made me look bad.
On purpose.
Anybody who gets that reference gets bonus points from me, by the way. Maybe if it's not somebody sub to your channel, I'll hook them up.
You heard it here first.
So, 0 cost, 1 justice influence requirement. Also, slow speed spell. Harmless question. First of all, seen some people talking a little bit bad about art on these new spoilers, saying that that's not measuring up. I love this art. She is dragging the soul out of this guy. This could almost be shadow art, man. But it's obviously a torture technique to ask just a little harmless question. 0 cost, stun an enemy unit.
If this card art came out, if we had this just the art of this card as a to speculate on, I would have guessed either Feln or Haru. And the reason the Haru just because it's a little bit brighter color scheme overall. But yeah, it definitely I definitely see what you were saying about the art and it looking a little bit dark, so to speak.
It is. I mean, art is cool. I have a deep hatred of elves in just about any game, traditional game, whether it be card game or role playing game. So I like seeing that this guy with the long ears is getting tortured heavily. The card itself, stun, is a little bit stronger than the exhaust that Mindfire had. Stun obviously gives you a little bit more of a clock. 0 cost as well. Your opponent watches you tap out. Your opponent watches you exhaust everything that you've got, sees cards in your hand. Before you pass the turn, they think, man, my next turn, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to hit somebody with this, 9/9 Carnosaur or whatever. And you drop this bad boy on him at the end of your turn right before you say pass. And it's just soul crushed, man.
Yeah, I think this will be, the decks that want this card will be very similar to decks that want Mindfire. They just really don't want you to block.
And they don't want you to block for cheap. Like, this is a Rakano deck that's got a little bit of a control element to it, was unheard of before. You had cards like Torch to kill some stuff. You had cards like Obliterate to kill some stuff or kill your opponent. These 2 cards in a Rakano deck that's tweaked just a little bit are annoying for your opponent. And man, if you're the kind of player that some of these players are that like to piss off people, for lack of a better word, these 2 cards are going to do it. There's going to be some iPads thrown across rooms. There's going to be some keyboards that are smashed on stream when they get Mind-Fired or Harmless Question before a big attack comes through.
Completely agree. This is going to be that card that frustrates a lot of people when they're going into their first draft. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just Voltroned up. I hit the opponent. I put him on a 2-turn clock. I'm going to get him next turn. I got my other guy back. Whatever it is. Boom, stunned, kill you.
That's right. So, Harmless Question, 1 out of 1.
Why not? Let's give it a 1 out of 1. I mean, it is the third 0 cost card in the game, and that is very exciting.
Yeah, well, and I would like to see some 0 cost cards see constructed play. I think this could definitely do it. It's definitely going to see play in draft. But I would love to be in constructed and see a Harmless Question, even if it's played against me and I'm the elf in that picture. Yeah. All right, so the next card, something a lot of people are looking forward to. We had we knew the other crests were coming out after that other one was spoiled, the Crest of Wisdom. Crest of Order, sorry.
Haru
yeah,
crest.
But we did not know if there was going to be any other power mechanics or multi-use cards that had to do with power. We got that answer in the next spoiler, which is Clan Standard, a primal depleted power that says transmute 5, gain Clan Tactic. Now, we don't know what Clan Tactic is, but I think what has been confirmed, and Chad will probably correct me if I'm wrong, is that Clan Tactic is a spell. So we have Spell Monument, possibly or probably Spell Monuments. Monuments being the cards previously that were transmute and get units, transmute and get weapons. That saw some play for a while, still see some play now. You know, we see a lot of the monument, the Time Monument that gives you your 5/5 Reinarch.
Yeah. I'm curious for this cycle. I'm assuming that's a cycle and not just a random one up for Primal. You know, all the monuments are Amethyst Monument, you know, Amber Monument, right? Am I correct in that thinking?
Yeah, they're all monuments.
And then you have all the Waystones. That's, you know, Amber Waystone, etc., etc., etc. So this card being called a Clan Standard, which of those words is the word that's going to stick around for the whole cycle? Is it Clan something, or is it something standard?
I think it's going to be standard. I think standards are what it's going to be. The Primal is like the land of the clans. You know, you have Eileen's clan. She's the clan mother. You have the clan father, Vadius. He did. Spoilers. You have all of these. You have these clans. So I think like the red standard will be something like Rage Standard or Battle Standard or something like that. Justice will have something like Judgment standard, Order Standard, something like that. I think that's all going to be standards, is what I would say.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, I'm really curious what Clan Tactic does. My guess is it's going to be some kind of card that draws cards. Maybe we'll finally get like a 5. Well, it'll cost 5. Like a fast draw 3, kind of like you know, that other card that does that but is slow and needs spark. Swindle. Like Swindle, but guaranteed 3 cards and fast. That's my prediction for what Clan Tactic is.
That would be awesome.
Or it's stunts.
And, you know, the chat's going crazy. We don't normally acknowledge it. I do like acknowledging it some when we're talking about, like, the speculation things. So the time standard, I would say, would be, like, maybe Arcane Standard or Passage. Something to do with time or magic. You know, you have the Praxis Arcanum. Talir has stepped down, so who knows? That's a really good question. I'm also a little stumped maybe on what Shadow would be. I like the idea of Cabal Standard, but Shadow could be so many different things because you have a lot of stuff. Clan Tactic and what the other spells, if they're all spells. Clan Tactic, for me, I think either draw, but definitely something that is quote-unquote tactical, so maybe buff your units, gives them some more hit points because they kind of know what's coming. They're making a tactical decision. Who knows?
Yeah, those all seem like good predictions to me, for sure. I mean, I think the Justice one I think the Justice one, the best name for it would be Justice Standard. That just sounds good to me. It's not going to be called that, but I think that would sound really good.
Yeah. Justice would be good. Judgment, maybe. There's a little bit of that in there. Crown Watch would be good for it.
That would make sense, actually, a lot.
Like Throne Standard, I don't know. It could be anything.
I will also predict that each one, you know, all this standard cycle, whatever that first word is, I bet for the transmute part, it'll be whatever that first word is, tactic. Or at least the first word will be the same first word.
Oh, so like Justice would just fit. Justice Tactic would be good, man.
Yeah.
Who knows? I love speculation. Clan Standard, I think everybody was happy to see some other options for power. Obviously, these kind of cards, because they're going to have multiple effects, being depleted doesn't frustrate me too much. I saw some people kind of had a little bit of frustration about it. But having it falls into that kind of monument feel. It's going to have another effect if you've already met your power and influence requirements. So I'm all for it being depleted if you play it early.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being not depleted, because then it's just a direct upgrade to a sigil at that point. I don't think they want to go into that territory, at least not yet. Maybe, you know, set 12 or something, not this early, at the least, or at all. But who knows?
Yeah. Oh,
I
and we're
want
seeing.
I want a cycle of these depleted power that make relics. Like an idea of a power cycle that I've been wanting to see, and I think a lot of people want to see, is like a power that, you know, has an activated ability. And I think the best way to make that be a thing would be it just being one of these types of cards, which is just now occurring to me, that it would be like a power that when, you know, Transmute 5 gain this relic, and it had, and the whole relic cycle, for the most part, would probably have an activated ability.
Yeah, but overall, very happy with Clan Standard and what it could bring. My last question on this card before I move on: do you think we will get all of the standards immediately, or you think we're going to get a split?
I think we're going to get them all immediately.
I would agree. There's not enough to have to split them. We're only talking about 5 here, so
yeah. 1 out of 1. Best card ever.
Best card ever. Made a lot of people happy. Can't go wrong. The next spoiler is, I think, the first legendary spoiler that we got. And I told everybody in the Eternal Discord, I told everybody in your stream chat, I told everybody at every chance I could get, I claim drawing this card out because I was the one talking about bells of shame and, Roll-It did nothing wrong in the Eternal Discord when this card got spoiled. And I got a little shout out from Scarlatch when it came through. A little smiley face. It's about all he ever gives. But this is Answer the Call. This is a Justice Legendary, 6 cost, 2 Justice Influence requirements, and it has a little bit of text to the bottom. It says, play a unit from the top 6 cards of your deck, then play all weapons from among those cards on it and discard the rest.
This will be a fun card to, like, air quote, try to break, or just like an achievement unlock type of card. This is going to be a very fun card to play with, I think. I'm excited to make some brews around it. The gears have already been churning, you know?
Oh man, I saw some great ideas. People talking about, just overloading your deck with control and big units to be able to drop out on this. You know, you hit an Ikaria with this, with any weapon, somebody's pretty much dead. You hit any unit and are able to get a Charge Rod on this bad boy, they're pretty much dead. Divining Rod, yeah. Sorry, I call it Charge Rod because that's the name of the deck. Yeah. But, I mean, there's so many combinations of essentially easy groupings of cards to get in this that fall into the colors that this card could be played in. That, I mean, you got some good stuff. And we're getting more and more cards. You know, we have cards in the last 3 sets. We'll have more cards in this set, I am sure, that kind of let you set up the top part of your deck. You have cards like Strategize, or not Strategize, the Scout that lets you put 1 on top, or draw 2, put 1 back on top of your deck. You have all these cards that kind of let you set up the first few, the first couple of cards, and there's revenge cards as well, which a lot of people weren't talking about, that you're guaranteed to have them in the top 10. Play a couple, haven't hit it, you're going to hit something with Answer the Call. There's a lot of good ideas that can have decks built around this. And since I don't deck build, I'm waiting on you guys to be able to put those decks together so I can jam them out on the ladder and make people mad.
Yeah, I mean, Second Sight, Excavate, revenge units, all that stuff. Very good way to, like, pseudo try to set it up in advance ahead of time or something. That'll be neat. What I am looking to do is sure shot combo kill somebody out of nowhere. I think they're fine. Hit sure shot, Warhelm, this thing, that thing, the other thing. Boom. Dead. DED dead.
Yeah, I will be in the deck discussion channels. I'll be on Eternal Warcry. The moment this set hits, I'll be typing in this card's name to see what people like Tony G are coming up with, what the Ski J, what Platypus King, what these people that I know build decks that kind of fall into my same playing style make with Answer the Call. This was the first. I was excited about the other cards. This was the first card that I saw that I was like, oh, this set's going to be amazing.
Yeah, this card will be fun. I'm excited to brew with it for sure.
Yeah, a big question that's been floating around, and it came up twice here in the chat for people who aren't watching live, is does this card work on relic weapons? It does not. It has to be a regular weapon that can target a unit. So you're not playing anything on your avatar, you're not playing spells, you're playing weapons on one of the units that you drew and put onto the field.
Yeah, and hey, I think this card would also potentially be reasonable just to get the one unit, maybe in a deck that doesn't play any weapons or attachments, might be reasonable to play there.
Absolutely. I would say, again, not a deck builder, but I would say building this around a revenge deck so you know that your unit is going to be in the top is definitely the way to go. Just me.
Yeah. I mean, the most natural place for this would be, of course, Charge Rod, like you've already mentioned and alluded to. That maybe Rakano play to give it some late game potential to just get right back in it out of nowhere, But what I'm looking to do is just to have some fun with Sure Shot. Maybe that deck includes, Ilya K here in the chat is suggesting a deck with 4 Rakano, Artisan, Quartermaster, Copperhall, Paladin, and a bunch of 0/1 cost weapons or something. Maybe that's a good shell for it. I don't know. I think Sure Shot could go in that shell for sure. I think there's some fun stuff we could do with this deck. With this card.
Yeah, it definitely, there were some spoilers in the last set. There were some cards that came out in set 3, and cards in some of the campaign stuff that's been released that have that legendary diamond, but didn't quite feel like legendary cards. I'm looking at you, Azurite Prixis. Maybe it gets changed in the future. I mean, maybe something happens in the future where it is, but this card, it feels like a legendary. I think it's going to have impact like a legendary would. I mean, it's going to be a card that does something. It may not be like a tier 0 deck, but somebody's going to show up to an ETS. They're going to hit a Deep Forge Plate. They're going to hit an Ikaria. They're going to do something that just has everybody shaking their heads, opponent putting their face in their hands. It's going to be great. And that is not a prediction. That is also a spoiler. That is something I'm very much looking forward to.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited for this card.
So the next card that we're going to talk about, not necessarily come down, but come off the high of Answer the Call, get on the high of this next card.
Come down from a legendary to an uncommon.
That's right. This won't be pretty. This spoiler is a 3-cost fire, 1 influence requirement in fire. As Platypus said, this is an uncommon card, slow spell, titled Won't Be Pretty. Choose 2 enemy units. The enemy player chooses 1 to be dealt 6 damage. They play a +1/+1 weapon on the other. So beat 1, probably kill one of the 2 that you choose, buff the other one.
Yeah. You're gonna have to hope. The hard part about this card is you want your opponent to have 2 good units on the table. And I think this card will excel in limited. It'll be a very good removal spell in limited, for sure. It'll be a little bit harder in constructed. But, you're gonna kill one Sandstorm Titan and then make the other one harder to kill.
Yeah, that definitely will be. It'll be tough. The art on this card speaks volumes for what the card actually does. It is, these guys. There's 2 guys in the foreground, and there is this bad Mamma Jamma standing there with a shotgun. I can't remember the name of the 6-drop shotgun from the last set.
Hellfire rifle?
He's standing there, and one of these guys getting executed, and the other one's probably going to get handed the shotgun. Or, you like to think about it, they're going to untie them both, and he's going to give the shotgun to one, and he's got to kill his buddy.
Yeah, the art on this card is phenomenal. You just got this super cool, gunslinger in the foreground, then 2 tied up people on the ground. Ball gag. Well, not ball gag, but, mouths.
Yeah, they're gagged or bags over their heads or something. Yeah. One of the things that when I saw this card get spoiled, the first thing I thought of was the way my parents dealt with. I have a younger brother. He's 3 years younger than me, and a lot smaller than me. I'm a big guy. But the way that my parents made us choose stuff when we were kids, like a dessert, for instance, there was
this gonna get dark?
No, yeah, we had to fight each other to the death. I don't have a brother anymore. No,
oh.
My last piece of cake, for instance, we both won it. we were notorious for complaining about how mom and dad split it. So what they would do is they would put the cake down in front of us. They would give one of us a knife and they would say, Matt, you cut the cake. Josh, my little brother, you get to pick which piece you want.
I think I can see where this goes.
Yeah, so, I mean, there was still a lot of fighting, but they tried really hard to make it even. One of us always came out ahead with a knife in our hand. The other one usually had cake or something else like that. That was good.
That's a nice little story. I like it. But no, it made you do it fair, you know.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's the exact same thing that this card is doing. You're going to likely get removal, like you said, especially in limited. You're going to get removal if you're playing this card. However, you're going to have something that is a little bit tougher to kill. If it has overwhelm, that's going to kill you a little bit harder if it gets to attack. But Fire was in desperate need of some removal, especially in limited, and without changing the archetype of that style, without changing the archetype of those decks, I think this card definitely answers that need. It gives Fire the access to have removal. The decks that play Fire in it that are exclusively Fire, it has you have the ability to get something off of the field. Yes, you're making something else stronger, but in a lot of cases, you have one of the removal in your hand, or you have one unit on the field that can already deal with that, especially when you're in these red colors. You got stuff with big attacks, not necessarily always the big butts, but you've got these cards that have 5 attack, 3 health, 6 attack, 4 health kind of thing. So this lets you kind of even the playing field.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be a good limited card for sure.
So 1 out of 1 on Won't Be Pretty in limited, maybe in ranked as well.
I would say, yeah, it'll probably see niche play in ranked, but I mean, this card gets a 1 out of 1 for the art alone. This is some of the coolest art I've seen on a card in this game.
And I had to say the name is good too. There's a lot of names you could come up with, like forced execution, but this won't be pretty.
This the name matches the art so good. So good.
All right, so the next card we've got is a token. We've gotten one other token that we talked about last podcast, and that was the sheep, which spurred a lot of interesting conversation. The token that we got this week in spoilers is a 3-cost Elysian. That's 1 time 1 primal, 3/3, called Claw of Curiox, and it has killer and the dragon subtype, even though it's just Curiox's Claw. Does that mean we're getting a new Curiox? Does that mean that we're getting a spell? Are we building He Who Shall Not Be Named from a different card game that takes 5 cards to build? I don't know, but I like the card itself. To me, is a little mediocre, but I like the idea behind it so much that it carries the card into like hype mode for me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see a token card with killer that comes from a character that we already know in the game. I think that's really neat. I wouldn't think of, like, looking at the card, I wouldn't have thought that this was Curiox. If they just spoiled the art, like they've done with all these other cards, I would not have expected it to be Curiox. But I like this. I think this, I mean, this token is great. This token is great. Now, it depends on what card makes it. That'll determine how competitive the card is. But as with all the information that we currently have, fantastic. I'm just going to jump straight ahead and say it's 1 out of 1, best token ever. But I do want to keep talking about this card.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and I'll say the name, just everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about. It's been said before. Exodia was very niche in Yu-Gi-Oh! For anybody who's played it. Go ahead, you got something here.
I actually had no idea what you were referring to. I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, so Exodia is this just the end-all be-all in the lore of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. And when you assemble Exodia on the field, you automatically win the game. So Claw of Curiox kind of has that same feel for it. Exodia was assembled by like right arm of Exodia, left arm of Exodia, right leg, left leg, head. So it very cool kind of mechanic. Didn't see play when it first came out. Then there were a bunch of decks that made it, and then there's a bunch of decks that countered it, so it kind of dropped off the face of the plan again. Then I stopped following Yu-Gi-Oh, so I turned like 16 and just didn't have any feel for it anymore. But Claw of Curiox in the Elysian colors and the effect that it's got, I am really excited to see what card creates it, but more so if it's in a suite of cards that are created or are creating things. I think it's really cool. There's a lot of talk in this set about cards being modular, which means that they have different choices, that you can do one thing or another based on either power that you have or just a straight choice that you make, like the choice cards. We talked about a little bit with that Meiotic Mama, which I've been talking to. I call her that. The Radiant that is half shadow, half lumen. So like she may be modular. Some of these other cards may be modular. That Wisp that's kind of light and dark. Maybe this card is created from a like avatar of Curiox. You can either summon Curiox's Claw or you can summon Curiox's Breath or something like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I'm hoping whatever card creates this, I'm hoping that it's a spell that creates multiple pieces of Curiox or something. That'd be really neat.
That would be. Curiox, to get a little bit into the lore, Curiox has been mentioned a few times. He is this collector. He is I don't want to say he, they are this elder dragon that wants the most powerful relics of Myria, that does not care for this fight that's going on in Argenport. All Curiox wants is to have the most power, to be on top of everything that's going on, to be seen as a god. And having a killer claw would definitely lend itself to that. So a spell or a small unit that kind of pulls in these pieces of Curiox would be fantastic.
Yeah. That would be pretty neat. Curiox is a really cool character. I'm glad that we've seen two different representations of him on cards in the game, and now we're kind of getting a third, or at least that's what they're alluding to with this token.
Yeah, my bet is a unit or a relic weapon that is named something along the lines of like Avatar of Curiox or Banner of Curiox or something like that has either the options to bring in different things based on what you pay or just randomly summons them in at like the beginning or end of every turn.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. That would be pretty cool, actually.
So you said 1 of 1. I agree, or 1 out of 1. I agree with you. 1 out of 1 on this.
Best token ever.
Yeah, a lot of speculation. Is it a better token than the sheep goat token? The sheep that looks like a goat. It remains to be seen, but they both are in blue. Curiox's Claw happens to also be in time, but this card you could almost put in packs without it being a token, and it would be a solid card.
I would not be unhappy to just take this card and draft it.
All right. So next card is another. Oh, what do you got?
The Overmaster is very excited for this next card.
Very excited indeed. This card, I played a song for Platypus. Pum. This is Little Drummer Boy, Void Drummer. Card that has seen a lot of praise and hate, but I think the hate is just unwarranted. Void Drummer is a 3-cost shadow requiring 2 shadow influence. It is a legendary unit. It's a wisp. And the text on it says, first, unblockable. One of my favorite things of text to say in there. The second part of the text is, when Void Drummer attacks, not when he hits, but when he attacks, units in your Void get +2/+2.
Yes, I'm excited to try playing this card with Haunting Scream, with Ephemeral Wisp? That's the one that Empower comes back from the void, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm excited for this guy. I like playing with my void.
Oh,
Excuse me.
You talk about Ephemeral Wisp, and you talk about these. You didn't hit on the one true Dawnwalker, the card that just gets amazing on this.
Don't talk about that. You're giving me nightmares while I'm awake. Daymares.
That's right. I also like this card. It's a little bit more of a combo, but I like this card in Stone Scar with the Warhelm, giving it charge immediately for just one more. That is, it only ever has to do its job once, and if it can do it on the turn it comes out, man, just awesome.
Yeah, if you can make this card good with just one attack, that's a good place to be. Like, putting this card in a deck with Sporefolk and Haunting Scream, potentially with Haunting Scream, Dawnwalkers, playing like a Time Primal Shadow deck where this card is good, or that text is relevant, that'll be very exciting. Seeing this card makes me wonder if there's going to be like a mass reanimation card, like a card like Grasping at Shadows that reanimates everything, that returns everything back from the void. Because then this card would be like exciting, right?
Vara version 2. Like, we have 2 Talirs, we have 2 Eileens. Give me like a 9-cost Vara that comes in and resurrects your entire void.
Is a new Vara in set 4 a prediction of yours?
New Vara is a prediction of mine. So we have, like I said, we've got Eileen has 2 versions of herself. Talir has 2 versions of herself. Unless they do something interesting in the lore, we're not. I don't think we're going to see another Roland. I don't want to do too much spoilers, but so Vara, she is this. Vara is this angsty kind of teenager. She was going to get the throne, then she decided to run away to the Shadowlands. Azendale tricked me. Blah blah blah. And so she makes this like triumphant return. I'm Caiaphas's daughter. I'm Eileen's daughter. The throne is mine. I mean, she brings this army of undead back with her. Come on.
That would be really, really, really... I'm excited about this idea. But besides that, and speculating on that whole thing, yeah. Void Drummer, I like this card a lot. The art looks cool. I mean, this little Void Drummer fella, very... so cute. And, he's got, like, what look like zombies in the background in the art. Just a, 3-cost 2/2, double shadow and block. Well, this card is really neat. I don't know. Whether it ends up being good and ranked or not, I don't care. This is a really cool card. I want to play with this card more.
Man, like I said, this card saw some hate when it got spoiled. This card has been the topic of multiple discussions, especially early mornings on the East Coast, that I've loved being a part of. There's a lot of people talking about some cool kind of janky decks around it, some effects that make it very playable very quickly. The Warhelm was not my idea. I saw it from somebody else, and it just sounded great to me. I'm speechless about this card because I think it's not getting nearly enough praise, and that it will have significant impact because there are so many recursion cards already that either come out of the graveyard on their own or that bring cards out of the graveyard. And obviously set 4 is going to have at least one more just because this card exists. I don't know if I lost you or if you're not talking, but I can't hear you.
Hi.
Oh, no. All right. Rewind. This card is going to be fantastic, and there's going to be recursion for it.
I am very excited for this card, and I'll be keep my eyes open for any card that brings itself back from the void on its own or just in general. Any card that was synergized with this, I'm very excited for this card. I will definitely be brewing with it week 1 of set 4.
Oh, all right. So, again, man, the legendaries, in my opinion, fantastic. 1 out of 1 on this one, but I'm ready to move on to the next one if you are.
I am ready. 1 out of 1, best card ever.
That's right. Okay, so the first TRS exclusive spoiler, spoiled by none other than notorious GHP on his stream day before yesterday, Sunday.
It was on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yesterday, excuse me. It was yesterday. I apologize.
Sunday and Monday were one day for me, so
I was gonna say,
have no idea.
For different reasons from yours, Sunday and Monday were also one day for me. Today is Monday to me, so yesterday was Sunday.
And Friday comes in a few days.
That's the last day for me at my job, so I'm pumped about that. I can spend all my time playing Eternal for the next couple weeks. Rendra's Choice. Rendra, the bad mofo assassin of the film. Rendra's Choice is a 2-cost fast spell that has 1 primal, 1 shadow influence requirement, and it is, like all the choice spells, a modular card. It has 2 options based when you play it. The first option is kill an enemy unit with more than 1 faction, and the second choice is negate an enemy spell with more than 1 faction. We got 2 awesome effects in a 2-cost card. Really, I'd pay 2 for either of those on its own card, but fast killing a unit and fast negating a spell, well, fast always negates a spell. There's no way to do it otherwise, but fast killing a unit and multi-faction killing is a big thing that Shadow specifically needed in its cheaper cards. You know, we have the cards that kill an ally with 3 attack or less. We have the cards that kill single faction. And then, you know, we have the cards that are more expensive that kill anything and everything as long as it doesn't have Aegis. But a 2-cost kill enemy with more than 1 faction or negate an enemy spell with more than 1 faction, big money.
I was not expecting to see a character like Rendra have a card like this. And I think a lot of people in the community were also surprised by something like this. But by this character, lore-wise and flavor-wise for this card.
Sure. Well, you know, lore-wise, they did say that these chapters, especially moving forward, these chapters, we're gonna have these heroes that come out, and they made sure to go back and tag all these cards like Rendra as a hero card. So yeah, while it is kind of, it was unexpected, it makes sense kind of looking backwards at it. Rendra is a hero. Rendra is the premier assassin for the film. You know, straight out of Shadowlands, just killing anybody he wants to. Coming in with that, I can't tell if his claw, and I looked at both of the arts, I can't tell if the claw is like Wolverine claws or if it is like a replacement for a hand that he lost in a fight, or maybe a whole arm that he lost in a fight. Comes in, just stabs somebody. If it's nighttime, draining their blood, giving you life back. I mean, Rendra is a bad man, and this card definitely just kind of adds on to that lore.
The card art definitely reminds me of an action RPG, like, for example, Diablo 2. But yeah, no, this card is going to definitely be it's going to see play in constructed. It'll probably see play in limited. I mean, all the choices are a little bit more awkward in limited, I think, but this card, very, very powerful. Look at it. Look at it.
I mean, yeah, the art is cool. The effect is great.
What cards does this kill? What cards does this negate? Let's just go off the top of our heads and think of that. Like, what we got.
This card stops my Valkyrie combo. My Valkyrie Rebel just gets roasted
gone
immediately.
You know, Heart of the Vault. Cirso.
Yeah.
Champion of Cunning. All the champions. Let's just say that. I mean, Champion of Cunning is gonna need a friend to kill it, but kills all the champions. Man, Icaria, again, is gonna need some help.
Curiox.
Curiox, all versions of Curiox that we've seen so far. It's gonna kill the killer token we saw earlier. Black Sky Harbinger. Rendra itself.
Harbinger, yep. Rendra's
Harakiri.
Rendra would be great. Harakiri.
It counters a lot of cards that are seeing a lot of play, so.
Absolutely. And seeing, you know, a lot of people had real big problems with Heart of the Vault for a long time. You know, cards overpowered. Rendra's Choice kills, it gives Felon another option to kill Moment of Creation tokens. They're multicolor, if memory serves correctly.
No.
Oh, they're not. Okay.
The tokens have no faction, but the spell itself is multi-faction.
Okay. But so it counters Moment of Creation. So A lot of people had problems with Moment of Creation, said it was overpowered. This card stops it in its tracks. A lot of people had problems with Heart of the Vault. You know, you see these Icaria. Icaria gets killed by Ranger's Choice after you pop the Aegis, by the way. Or big Icaria, not little baby Icaria, cute platinum hair Icaria. But so Ranger's Choice, it shuts down a lot of these cards that people said were just overpowered, that were oppressive, that, you know, I'm sure Direwolf Digital got plenty of complaints about, Heart of the Vault, so OP, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. Like, Ranger's Choice 2 cost at the uncommon level, just smiting these cards is fantastic.
Yeah, this card is definitely gonna see play main and side on the ETS, and you'll definitely be seeing this card on the ladder. For sure.
This uncommon card this uncommon card kills your brand new shiny Seraph.
Premiums are exempt.
I would love a card that says can't kill premiums or only kills premiums.
That would not be good for the game.
It would be terrible for the game, but it would be funny nonetheless.
But I think that would be a type of thing that I think would be better suited for the digital realm of the digital card space, right? The digital design space. I think it's better suited than in physical, but either way, that's a whole nother thing.
It would be a pay-to-win card for sure, and everybody would quit immediately. I'd probably be one of them.
Lose respect for everyone. No, but that'll never happen anyway. But no, this card is great. Let's speculate a little bit. Like, Rinja's getting a choice, so that means there's probably other modal cards, other choice cards, right? In other color pairings that don't have one yet. So what other characters that aren't Scions do you think might get their own choice card?
So other heroes, kind of more specifically, I think we will see. So we're looking for multi-faction. The problem that I'm running into, kind of thinking of it, we're not going to see stuff for like Svetia, because she was a promo, so I don't think they're going to do a choice for her, at least right off the bat. Same for Bryn. But you have cards like we talked about, your Bay Sarah. I think she'll get a choice. She's got, even from a lore standard, she's got a choice to make. Does she stand with the Crown Watch? Does she decide to overthrow whoever's in power? This kind of stuff. I think Cirso probably gets a choice. He's already got.
I hear that Cirso's choice was confirmed by Scarlatch in Discord. Don't know if that's true. I didn't see it personally, but I hear that. I would
like it. I would like to see like Izalio get a choice, but I think both of his cards are mono red, so I don't think it's going to happen. But my favorite, and man, I hope this happens. Lore-wise, it would make sense unless something changes in set 4, but Icaria's choice would be awesome to see, just because Icaria is love, Icaria is life.
Icaria is big.
Yeah. And obviously, we have dual faction for Caleb. Caleb is in his reborn state. We already have a Caleb's choice, I know, but maybe he gets another kind of card to add to his lore. Maybe not Caleb's choice because it already exists, but Caleb's cloak, maybe he gets an item. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, I mostly just want Cirso's choice, which sounds like might happen. What? I bet Cirso's choice turns something into a pig. Just a theory. Maybe that's where the sheep token comes from. It doesn't make sense since Cirso's a pig and does pig things, but maybe.
Yeah. But I'm very happy to see that not only are the, what do you got?
Curiox's choice, and that's where the claw token comes from.
Oh,
maybe.
Snap! We're breaking the meta, figuring stuff out.
It's gonna be the first 3-faction choice as well.
Oh,
this is my prediction.
But seeing, the Scions having choices definitely made a lot of sense. The Scions are obviously all kind of vying for the throne or vying for power. Seeing these heroes not only be in the lore, but in the game itself having more of an impact. So Rindra, Cirso, things like that.
Yeah, that would be neat. If we got like an Icaria's choice, what do you think that would do?
Icaria's choice, I think, would be a little more expensive than Rindra's choice. One of the options would be get a relic weapon, like a 3/3 sword. The other option would be give a target overwhelm.
Fair. No, that's fair. I was thinking one of the modes would be give a unit Warcry 5. Or Warcry something.
Yeah, maybe Warcry 2. I think Warcry 5 on a spell would be a little crazy, but maybe not.
Minimum Warcry 3. I'll meet you in the middle.
I'll concede that and give you Warcry 3, and the other choice is like a 3/3 or a 4/4 sword.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. Do you maybe we'll see it in this set, maybe we won't. I would love to see a weapon that can be relic weapon or regular weapon. I know I'm kind of going off topic, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, that would be very interesting. I agree.
Chat brings up a good point. A hero in the Rakano colors that does have more of a chance of getting a lore-based choice card, Navani, which we talked about a lot from the previous event, doing work for us in that singleton. Navani's choice would be cool. Could also kind of fall into that Warcry.
I agree with that.
I can't think of a Stone Scar. I've been racking my brain trying to think of a Stone Scar hero, and I don't want to bring up stuff and be like typing and moving around.
Isn't Voprex a hero? That's the one where your opponent either sacrifices their units or discards their hand?
Yeah, Vorprex, the Great Ruin, one of the coolest card names in the game, still to date, by the way, and the art is badass.
Maybe that character.
I would love to see a Vorprex that is a little cheaper and has a relevant effect that could see play. He's awesome and limited. I've played him in like one constructed deck where he just kind of fit in as an oh my gosh, but having like a little bit cheaper Vorprex or a card that summons Vorprex would be amazing.
That would be really cool. I agree. That would be really, really awesome.
All right. So Render's choice, 1 out of 1.
1 out of 1. Best choice ever.
All right. So there's another card spoiled. And this one is a fingers in the air. So I'm going to stop for a second.
Let's announce the giveaway winners before we go on to this next spoiler.
All right, fair enough. 3 giveaway winners. So for the past month, the Platypus King has been making sure that people pay attention on stream, making sure that people follow on Twitter, so they have this kind of stuff. We have 3 winners that have done all these things for $25 Steam gift cards to be used to get some of these amazing spoilers when Set 4 comes out, or anything your little heart's desire. Yeah.
Well, I have the 3 winners. Are you ready to hear them, Manted Man?
If I could do a drum roll sound with my voice, I would, but I cannot. So I will just say, ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the Eternal Podcast Unexpected Result and Platypus King's giveaway are
Carlos 175, Knack Pack, or is it C Knack? One of those two. They know who they are. And the Autumn Rose. Congratulations to our 3 monthly winners. We'll be taking signups for the next giveaway, probably June 1st, I believe is when the next giveaway will start. So congratulations to those 3 users. Please message us, message the 2 of us on Discord or on Twitch itself, and we'll get you taken care of here in the coming days. So congratulations once again.
My favorite comment. So again, people who aren't in the live don't get to participate in some of this, but the chat. By the way, usually every Sunday, unless something happens, but Unexpected Results, the Eternal Podcast is live every Sunday from at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific. We interact with the chat some. We read what you're writing. We try not to laugh too much while we're doing the podcast. But my favorite comment from all this is, didn't even participate, still rigged because I didn't win.
That's pretty good.
All
That
right,
is
so
pretty
we
good.
said Carlos Autumn Rose, who used to have a different name, but she knows
Scarlet
who she
Harlot.
is. Yeah, Scarlet Harlot. And then who was the third winner?
CNAC with two A's.
CNAC. Yeah, so the three of you, if you're not in right now, we're going to post to Platypus King's Discord. We will probably post to Reddit. We'll post it. We'll find you. Make sure you show up to the next dang podcast live so that you're able to be congratulated, or you can say your thanks.
I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But we will find you, and we will give you spoiler. Wait. We will
Money.
give you giveaway Steam cards. Reference foiled again!
Foiled him again. All right, so we did that stuff. We botched my plan a little bit, but so we have another card coming. I love the art that you've put on the podcast itself. We have ourselves a 4-cost fire legendary. You could tell by the horn and the little diamond at the bottom. 4-cost, 2 fire influence required legendary card. I want to drag this out as much as I can to torture these guys. So we got.
Yeah, I believe this.
Actually,
what we have here so far was posted all over the social media and Reddit and whatnot. I wonder what this card will be.
I wonder what this. Let's see if anybody. Red Raider Frogs, Rodrigo, get out! Get out!
You're banished from the Platypus Island. Reina Frogs is. We won't talk about that right now.
Yeah, of course. This card. So we had some stuff coming out. Or we have stuff coming out, but we had some information. Unexpected Results, the Eternal Podcast, is bringing you multiple exclusive spoilers in this podcast here. The first of which is not this card. The first of which is a guarantee, a word-for-word, verbatim quote for the likes of myself, the Platypus King, Tony G, and others who love Armory, that not only are we getting new relic weapons, we're getting new relic weapons with keywords that do not exist in the game right now.
I am excited. That is awesome news. Tony G, I hope you're listening. We did this for you, buddy. We talked about it on the podcast, and look, they went and randomly redesigned all the cards just for us. No, that's...
That's right. So we're getting new relic weapons. Armory is getting some love. We're getting new keywords. I can't even imagine, unless one of those keywords makes it either a regular weapon or a relic weapon. That would be cool. But we're getting some awesome stuff with that. Armory is getting a buff because relic weapons are getting keywords. That means that they're just new keywords in the game. So units are getting probably new keywords. I can't think of any other card type. Spells maybe getting new keywords. It's really good. I'm flipping through my messages here that I've got from dev team members just to make sure that I didn't miss any of the kind of dropped information that they gave us. It took a while to get the card. We knew we were getting a spoiler. We knew that. I mean, they knew that they wanted to give us one. They didn't know what to give us. They kind of asked us some questions like, "What do you like? What do you guys talk about the most? What are you excited about?" So we talked, we love Armory. Ikaria is amazing. Molten Fist is so much fun. Daisho is one of my... Searso is a great card. We love the lore there. The lore in the cards in general. Daisho is probably one of my favorite cards. It has one of the best clips on Platypus Island Street. Let me show you my Daisho!
Oh, God. It's Tony G's favorite card, too.
Yeah, it's a great card. So, we talked about that, and the dev that reached out to us, or the Eternal member, Scarlatch, reached out to us and noticed that we also like talking about wrestling. So, how about Armory cards? Well, I don't have any Armory cards that I can give you because I don't want to give new spoiler. I don't want to give new keywords away just yet, but you can talk about keywords. All right, great. That's one piece of information. How about Armory Hate? There are Armory Hate cards that exist. You can't have new weapons without having new stuff to burn them up. So we are going to get more ways to kill Platypus King, more ways to kill the Manted Man, more ways to kill Tony G. It's the heel turn.
Tony G. I love Tony Chi.
You know, they struggled. They dug through these cards to find the right one. They're so, and I'm quoting here, a lot of this stuff is loaded with keywords and new things. We're still looking. I don't know what to take away from that outside of this set is going to be huge. I'm very honored to be part of the podcast that got some of this information and that gets to bring you guys this exclusive spoiler coming out. Thank you, first of all, for sticking around so long. Dragging this out a little bit, but I think Platypus, he's giving me kind of the high sign. I've got messages here like, maybe we should go ahead and do this.
I think this is great.
Just watching him struggle. I'm just double checking one more second here. We can use it to hype the show, make a post on Reddit, get that sweet karma. Platypus King did do that. And then the humble, first of all, this is like the most words I've ever seen Scarlatch post to anybody, let alone a private message. But the humble man that is Scarlatch says, this probably isn't exactly what you're looking for, but it's pretty crazy. And man, it is crazy. It's got a lot of cool little nuances to it. The art is great. The card itself, as we said, is a 4-cost, double fire influence required legendary. It is a, you want to tell them what kind of card it is, what the type is on it?
It's a weapon.
It is a weapon, not a relic weapon, but a weapon. It is pants, or more accurately, it is a mask. The name isn't 100% set in stone, but it is called Dramatist's Mask. It's a tongue twister. Dramatist's Mask says that it's +1/+1 and it has some text. Platypus King, you put the stream together. You brought this community together. You made this podcast possible. Why don't you go ahead and read us the plethora of text on the bottom of this card?
I purposely did not read it too hard before we started, just so I could be ready for it, just like all of you at the same time. +1/+1, charge. At the start of your turn, sacrifice the wielder to play a random unit from your deck. Then play a copy of Dramatist's Mask on it. So it's a 4-cost weapon that gives your unit +1/+1 and charge. And then if that unit is still alive next turn, you're going to sacrifice that unit and get a random unit from your deck. Navani, Ikaria, Whirling Duo. Cards that we haven't even seen spoiled yet. Cards that haven't come out yet. Put it into play and play a copy of this weapon on that card. It's going to be very, very cool. I am very excited for this.
Oh, man. I'm trying to post it to the Discord right now. It was getting flooded, so it took me a second to actually get down to the bottom, but so it's posted there. I cannot tell you, one, how excited I am because the art has got it's got the Oni in it. She is very scary looking. Got the kind of lens flare and stuff like that. But two, I love pants. I love being able to pump units. I like the fact that not only does this make a unit get in there, do some big damage quickly, but it brings another unit out and just powers them up as well. Charge. I mean, this is a chain reaction.
I like this card a lot. Like, sure, your unit has to live until the next turn, but not, okay, so here's some thoughts on this card right now. Okay. Not every the best use of this card would be to, like, cheat out Ikaria, right? That's something like that. That would be great. Cool. Sometimes you're going to be able to do that with this card. But in a deck like that, you're probably going to play some less exciting units. Maybe you end up playing Recano Artisan in a deck with this card in it. Alright. Cool. Now, the fact that you're playing units all the units in your deck are going to be good units. Units that make sense to play in your deck with Recano Plate or whatever else you're doing, right? Cool. So now you're going to get to turn a unit such as Recano Artisan, a unit that they don't really want to spend their removal on, into a card that they now have to kill. They don't have a choice in the matter. They now have to kill whatever this unit is. such as Rakano Artisan. Maybe, maybe even just put it on an Oni Ronin on turn 5, that's fine. Now they have to kill whatever that unit is that maybe it's not worth using removal on, in the general sense, and they're trying to save their removal for Ikaria, or Navani, or whatever else is in your deck. Now they have to kill. That card now becomes a lightning rod, right? It now becomes a card that they must kill. And I think that would be the best way to utilize this card. You're gonna have all the threats in your deck are going to be good units. Some are going to be more valuable than others. That's just the way it always is, right? And so now, I think the best way to use this card is to put this mask on a unit that the opponent probably doesn't want to use, the removal on. Plus, hey, you Warcry this thing, it's just gonna get better. This is gonna be a tier 1 card. Calling it right now.
If this card is not tier 1, I will also be shocked. This card is awesome in the constructed format. This card is incredible. If you get this in draft or any limited format, this card just sets the world on fire. This is almost the equivalent to Flamestoker, because it just generates. If you don't take care of it, it keeps going. It does some real work. And the biggest thing that you said about this that I think people don't understand quite yet, they're not grasping, is that lightning rod effect. Even if this card does nothing else, it forces the opponent to burn up a removal on a card that they probably weren't going to use removal on before.
Exactly. And, another great way to use this card would be with, token generators, like Assembly Line or something. Maybe you can play this card in some variation of a Gear Cruncher deck. One that maybe eschews playing actual Grenadin Drone, just to maximize the chance of this card hitting Gear Cruncher or Scrapper or Scrap Tank, etc., etc.
I'll be excited to see another thing that doesn't get calculated a lot when these cards. Everybody acknowledges these cards in a vacuum. The thing that we're not able to balance this card against is some of the other keywords that are going to exist. Some of the other units that are going to come out. Where there's other cards as well. I have to go back through it and have a lot of time to look at the cards. But there's cards that have other effects that may be relevant to this effect here. When cards come into play. If you hit a revenge unit with this, it's essentially double destiny at that point, because it's getting played for free. It's coming back after it dies when it got sacrificed to this. And the charge on this is impactful in and of itself as well, because you're giving, if you're later in the game and you're able to play a 3 or a 4 cost and give it charge with +1/+1 and make it do some work, that becomes relevant as well. So it's a turn 4, turn 5 play. It's a turn 7, a turn 8 play. It has relevance across the board.
What deck might want this card, Painted Man?
I'm waiting with bated breath. Tell me.
A deck with Answer the Call.
That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. Again, I was so caught up in the excitement of getting the card today, I didn't get a chance to look at the other cards. This card with Answer the Call in the Rakano frame that already exists, man.
Hey, maybe that deck plays Void Drummer too. Who knows? Who knows?
3 faction, your favorite.
Man, yeah, I want to Answer the Call and hit either Navani or Tavrod, or Ikaria, with this card and other things. Hey, this is another card that turns on my Sure Shot combo deck. I now have 8 different weapons that give charge in my deck, in my Sure Shot deck. And what's going to go well with Sure Shot? Hey, maybe we put Stella in that deck. Maybe we put Navani, we put Ikaria, maybe we play Tavrod too. I don't know. The possibilities, well, they're not completely limitless, because there's literally a limit of how many cards you can put in a deck and how many cards exist, but the possibilities are limitless. Boom.
There's a lot of fun to be had, and there's going to be hate on the card. There's going to be people, blah, blah, blah. This is a letdown. Man, the card itself is fun in a vacuum. When we get more spoilers, the card's going to get even more fun. Somebody's going to figure out a combo that is easily executed with this card that is just a blast to play. You're going to draft this card in a day that you're not feeling like drafting, and it's going to carry you to a 7-0 victory. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that comes about with this card that a lot of people aren't thinking of, or that won't think of right out of the gate. They're going to have a snap decision. Love it or hate it, this card is cool. This card is fun. This card has great flavor. It gives us a little bit more like Oni love in there. Oni love, that sounds a little weird. It gives us this cool feeling. We have a couple of masks now in the deck, so maybe somebody makes a mask deck. This card lets you play a deck with a bunch of one-ofs because you have kind of the same chances of getting different big allies. So, this card does that. You can put cards in that you don't have the power for. Maybe this card will hit it. Who knows? Like, you could do some fun, memey kind of stuff with this.
Yeah, I mean, you could play this in, like, my Honor of the Fallen Icaria deck that I used to play. Or that I tried playing when Dead Reckoning first came out, for example. But you might be able to cast Icaria in the deck. It doesn't matter! That's not the point, okay?
Yeah. The point is, this is a fun card, if nothing else, but I think it's a good card. I think it's going to see a lot of constructed play. It's going to carry people who get it in draft to victories. So, 1 out of 1. Best unexpected results, the Eternal Podcast spoiler ever.
Yes, I agree. 1 out of 1. Best exclusive spoiler ever.
But
this is going to be, this card is an early front runner for my Molten Fist of set 4. And what that means is, that was the first card that I saw from set 3 that I was like, that was the first card I tried to brew around. This is an early front runner for that reward, that gift, that slot.
Yeah, so,
I will be crafting for day 1.
Yeah, and I will be in your Twitch watching, because again, I'm not a deck maker, but I can comment relentlessly and tell you how bad or how good your choices are. I'm pumped for this card. I'm pumped for the spoilers that we have seen. I can't wait to see more spoilers. Again, a lot of conversation about, what's set 4 going to do to the game? What's set 4 going to do to the meta? I think what we've seen so far is set 4 is going to bring some awesome stuff. Set 4 is going to bring some really cool cards. Set 4 is going to bring some cool mechanics, and Set 4 is going to shake things up, which is definitely what the game needs.
Yes, I am ready for Set 4. I think I speak for the entire community when I say, we're ready for Set 4.
I mean, we got our spoiler, so now that we've done our spoiler, Set 4 can come out tomorrow. I still maintain that it comes out on Father's Day. Big Daddy Kaifus comes back.
I got another spoiler for us. As of the ending of this podcast, Set 4 is officially on... No, okay, that's a joke.
One more spoiler! No, nothing
The entire set is online! It is in the game! Refresh your client! Buy! You're nothing to us but customer... No, wait. That's something else.
That's somebody else. So we gave away some money. We showed off some cool cards. We went over all the spoilers. There were so many. I mean, I think we did 9 in total, including our exclusive one. It was
10 if you count the edited out version of the card.
I love it. We talked about ETS and the impact that it's going to have. We talked about LCQ, a little bit on the Invitational, the best of the best of the best that are going to be going head to head. Talked about how fun the draft event was, and we dropped a little hint in there to the Direwolf and Eternal team members in there. More events like this will get our gold. It's something that everybody loved. And then we talked about the spoilers, man. We went through all these spoilers. We talked about how fun and interesting, and we talked about the fact, again, not to discredit anything else we've talked about, but new keywords, baby. We got more keywords. We got more stuff for Hero, the people to hit on. We're going to have more relic weapons with cool new keywords.
I'm very excited. And again, I still want the next campaign lore story thing to be about Cirso. So I'm throwing my vote in for that. Please, Direwolf Digital, hear my cries for Cirso. I will settle for just more lore coming out about Cirso, either in set 4 or, monthly, chapter thing. I want more Cirso lore, so my preference would be an entire campaign dedicated to the character. I will settle for anything.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you guys, how pumped I am about lore when it comes out. I can't wait for the next chapter because it means I'm going to get lore. I definitely can't wait for the next set because we're going to get a whole bunch of new storylines and voice lines and little tidbits here and there that we get to pick apart. There's a bunch of people in the chat that feel the same way. And then when we get the next campaign, whether it's Searso or not, I don't really care. I also love Searso, so I would like to see that. But we're going to get, and the story is just going so far. These cards that we've seen, Answer the Call is a memorial to Roland. Roland did nothing wrong. We know that now. The city loves him. They built this giant monument. There's a kid down there shaking a fist, knowing that what he did was right. So, we got all this cool lore just from the art and the cards that we've seen. I can't wait to see the storyline for it. I'm very excited for everything that is to come in the next few months.
I am going to top 8 the first ETS that set 4 is legal with this card in my deck. And in return, any naysayers in the community, I won't name names, they know who they are. They can pay me to apologize.
Somebody got called out live in the chat, by the way, for those of you listening in the future. So again, Unexpected Results, the Eternal Podcast, is live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We do bonus episodes during the week from time to time. We're playing around with some ideas for different interviews, kind of different themed little mini podcasts. One of the things that I'm going to post about on Twitter and stuff a little bit later that Platypus is so graciously going to let me do possibly is maybe a lore podcast, maybe on a bi-weekly basis, maybe on a monthly basis. But if that interests you, go ahead and let me know in chat. Let me know on Twitter. If you have other ideas for the podcast or things you want to see Platypus King do on his stream, you can reach out to either of us, Platypus King at Platypus Island on Twitter. He has his own Discord. He has his own Reddit that's gathering karma by the boatload. Myself at Manted Man on Twitter, The Manted Man on Reddit. You can find me on the Discord. I'm very active in the Eternal Discord, on Platypus King's Discord, and all the little kind of team Discords I've been invited to. Don't be afraid to speak up. Tell us how bad we are at this. Tell us how good we are at this. Tell us how much fun you had or things that you want to see. We obviously are very passionate about the game. We're passionate about the community. We're passionate about everything that has been given to us, that we have earned, that we have taken. We're passionate about it all.
Best in the world at what I do.
If there's anything else, man, I think it's wrap-up time. Like I gave us kind of our call-outs, but I'm sure you have other things you want to talk about. New giveaway coming up for sure. We've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, there's a new giveaway that'll be starting at the beginning of June. Just come to my channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/ThePlatypusKing for more information on that. Again, the winners for this month's giveaway were Carlos175, C. Knack, and the Autumn Rose. Please message either the Manted Man or myself on either Twitch or Discord. Discord would be the preference. Again, we're live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on my Twitch channel. If for some reason something comes up and we can't make it, we'll make it up to you later that week. You can find us on iTunes. Wherever you look for podcasts, we're probably there. We will be on Spotify soon. I don't think we're quite there yet. Spotify takes a little bit more time to do it. And there's that.
Hey, and if you can't find us, you can't remember all these other things, you know what? Just go to Google or to your web browser bar and type in eternalpodcast.com. Guess what shows up?
Unexpected Results, the Eternal Podcast. And that's why we are the Eternal Podcast.
All right. So, I mean, Platy, again, as always. Words? Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for everybody who joined us that got a little taste of what Unexpected Results is going to be doing in the future. Exclusives have our name on them. Not only exclusive cards, but exclusive information. Look for us in the Discords. Reach out. Tell us how much Botadym is a spoil sport or how much Ilya K just makes you crazy. Anything like that, let us know. Come back and join us next week. Show up every day to Platypus's stream. Have some fun with us. And as I've said in my articles on teamrankstar.com, which has a bunch of good stuff for new players and veteran players, but especially in my articles, just be good to one another. Have fun with the game. That's what this is, baby. This is a game. There's nothing at stake here except a little bit of bragging rights, some play mats every once in a while, some Steam giveaway or some Steam gift cards. But the biggest thing is we're here to have fun. We're here to support each other. Be awesome. Be excellent.
Exactly. And I would like to dedicate this episode to my late grandmother, Roberta Carson. She's no longer with us. She was like a mother to me. I love you very much, wherever you are or are not. I thank you for the great life that you've helped get and helping me become the person that I am today. And that's that.
That's that. And hey, again, thanks to everybody. Thanks, Platypus. Thanks, Team Rankstar. Thanks, Eternal Community. Thanks to everybody for what you have done, what you will do, and what you're going to do. And the devs, we said it a few times before. Thanks to the devs for they're putting their work into this. They give us something to look forward to every day. They give us something to look forward to every week, and the stuff that's in the future. You guys are awesome, regardless of what people say sometimes in fits of rage or whatever. We love the game. Everybody wouldn't be around if we didn't. So thank you as well.
Exactly. We'll see you next time.
Peace.